Namaste, I am Archana Raghuram. Before we dive into today's names, I need to share something truly extraordinary with you. What we are about to explore is a secret blueprint hidden in plain sight within the Lalita Sahasranamam. Today, we will be completing a sacred sequence of 14 names that started way back with Maha, the 212th name, and culminates with Maha Yogishwareshwari, the 225th name. And these 14 names, they are not random. They form what the ancient masters called the Mālamantra Rahasya, the Secret Garland Mantra, a complete self-contained system for accelerated spiritual transformation. Let me share with you 4 profound secrets encoded within these 14 names. You know the Devī Māhātmyam, that powerful scripture also called Durgā Saptaśatī, which describes the goddess's cosmic battles against the forces of ignorance, ego and duality. It has 13 chapters. Well, here's the secret. The first 13 names of this sequence, from Maha to Maha Siddhi, are the mantric essence of these 13 chapters. Each name encapsulates the spiritual power of an entire chapter. When you chant these 13 names, you're not just reciting words, you're ritually assimilating the entire cosmic drama of the goddess conquering darkness and establishing dharma. And the 14th name, Maha Yogishwareshwari, which we will be exploring today, that's the Palashruti, the ultimate fruit, the final realization of sovereignty and liberation that comes from understanding the entire teaching. Now let's go a little deeper. Within these 14 names, there is another layer. You have heard of the 11 Rudras, right? They are the terrifying, purifying aspects of Lord Shiva, the cosmic forces that preside over dissolution and transformation at the end of each cosmic cycle. You all must have heard this powerful mantra from Rudram. Om Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trayambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikalagni Kalaya Kalagni Rudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. This mantra contains 11 sacred epithets of Shiva. And there are 11 names within our sequence, from Maha to Mahabala, which encode the essence of these 11 Rudra principles. What does this mean? It means the goddess is being established as the supreme authority who directs and governs the power of the 11 Rudras. Now, the Rudras are forces of destruction. But destruction in a philosophical sense means the removal of limitations, ignorance and bondage. To control the 11 Rudras is to possess the capacity for instantaneous, complete transformation. Rudra is synonymous with Kala, time. The goddess's control over the 11 Rudras confirms her identity as Kala Swarupini, the essence of time itself, positioned eternally beyond the reach of cosmic termination. And now the most technically advanced secret of all. Each of these 14 names is connected to a specific Vedic deity like Agni, Vayu, Surya, Chandra, etc. and their corresponding Bīja-akṣara, a seed syllable of immense power. For example, when we chant Mahapataka Nashini, we are working with the clean Bija, which is associated with Surya, the sun god. That's not all. These 14 names map precisely into the 14 inner triangles of the Śrī Cakra, the sacred geometric diagram at the heart of Śrī Vidya practice. The 14 inner triangles form the 4th enclosure or avarna of the Śrī Cakra, known as Sarva Saubhagyadayaka Chakra, the avarna that grants all good fortune. These 14 triangles represent the power to fulfill all desires. Now you might be thinking, Archana, that sounds incredibly complex and esoteric. What does this mean to me, a regular bhakta? Here's what it means. When you chant these 14 names with understanding, you're not just praising the goddess, you're activating a complete spiritual system. You're invoking the protective and transformative power of the entire Devī Māhātmyam, the purifying force of the 11 Rudras, the precise sonic technology of the 14 Vedic Bīja mantras, and the Saubhagyadayaka power of Śrī Cakra. Our rishis tell us that mastering this 14 name sequence through sincere practice grants the same spiritual benefits as studying and reciting the entire Durgā Saptaśatī. So, today as we explore names 225 through 230, I want you to remember this. Knowing the meaning of these names is just a small part of the vast reservoir of power contained within them. When we encounter such sequences, we are reminded that these names were composed by the Vagdevis themselves, the goddesses of speech. That is why every word in the Sahasranamam is laden with so many layers of meaning. Today we are going to explore 6 names, starting with Maha Yogishwareshwari and ending with Mahayaga Karadhya. Let's get started. The 225th name, Maha Yogishwareshwari, is the magnificent culmination of the 14-name Mālamantra Rahasya sequence. This is the Palashruti, the ultimate fruit of everything that came before. The name translates to the supreme ruler of the great lords of yoga. Let's break this down. Yogeshvara means Lord of Yoga or Master of Yoga, those who have achieved perfection in yogic practice. Ishwari means sovereign or supreme ruler. So, Maha Yogishwareshwari is declaring that the goddess is the ultimate authority, the supreme ruler, even over all the greatest yoga masters. Now, before we go further, we need to correct a massive misunderstanding. When most people hear yoga, they immediately think of physical postures, flexibility, and exercise routines. But that's just a tiny sliver of what yoga truly means. Yoga is derived from the Sanskrit root yuj, which means to unite. Yoga is that which unites you, the individual soul, with the supreme reality, with Brahman, with the divine. In our tradition, there are many paths to achieve this union, like Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion and love, Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge and wisdom, Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action, Raja Yoga, the path of meditation and mental control. All these are legitimate spiritual paths, different routes to the same mountain. And the expert masters of any of these paths are called Yogeshwaras, Lords of Yoga. This includes the greatest cosmic powers, Brahma, who creates with his yogic focus, Vishnu, who sustains the universe through his divine yoga, Shiva, the ultimate ascetic and Maha Yogi, Indra and all Devas. All these divine beings acquire and maintain their powers through yogic practices. Think about this for a moment. Even the gods practice yoga. Even they must follow these spiritual disciplines to maintain their position and powers in the cosmic order. And here the Sahasranamam is telling us, Lalita Devi is Maha Yogishwareshwari. She is the sovereign ruler over all of them. But there is an even deeper meaning here. By calling her Maha Yogishwareshwari, the Sahasranamam is revealing that she is not just the ruler of yogis, she is Yoga Swarupam, the very embodiment of yoga itself. She is the destination that all yogic paths are leading to. Think of it this way. All these different yogic paths, Bhakti, Jnana, Karma, Raja, etc., they all seem different. They use different methods, different practices, different techniques, but they all seek the same ultimate destination. And that destination is her, the supreme goddess, the ultimate reality. Whether you're dissolving in devotion through bhakti, or cutting through ignorance with jnana, or purifying karma through selfless action, or stilling the mind through meditation, you're all heading to the same place. Maha Yogishwareshwari, the supreme reality herself. Now, here's another fascinating dimension to this name. You know the Bhagavad Gita, right? Every single chapter of the Gita is titled as a form of yoga. Chapter 2 is Sankhya Yoga, Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga, Chapter 4 is Jnana Yoga, and so on. And the concluding verse of the Bhagavad Gita is its Palashruti. And this is what it says. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Sri Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, Yogeshwara, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be unending opulence, victory, prosperity, and righteousness. Of this I am certain. Notice what Krishna is called here, Yogeshwara, the Lord of Yoga. And now look what's happening in the Lalita Sahasranamam. This name, Maha Yogishwareshwari, is the Palashruti, the ultimate fruit of the 13 preceding names that represent the 13 chapters of the Durgā Saptaśatī. The Sahasranamam is subtly, beautifully revealing that the Durgā Saptaśatī and the Bhagavad Gita are one and the same truth. Both are Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman. Both are ultimate spiritual teachings. And both culminate in the same realization, the supreme Lord of all yoga, whether you call that power Krishna or Lalita, is the ultimate destination. When Krishna is called Yogeshwara in the Gita, and when Lalita is called Maha Yogishwareshwari in the Sahasranamam, they are pointing to the same transcendent truth, the supreme consciousness that is the goal of all spiritual practice. So what does this mean for us, the seekers? It means that whatever path you're following, whether you're drawn to devotion, to knowledge, to service, to meditation, you don't need to worry that you have chosen a wrong path. All genuine spiritual practices, when pursued with sincerity and dedication, lead to the same destination, the realization of Maha Yogishwareshwari, the supreme reality. It also means that when you chant this name, you are aligning yourself with the supreme power that all the gods worship, that all the yogis aspire to become, and that all spiritual paths ultimately lead to. When you chant Maha Yogishwareshwari, visualize yourself standing at the summit of the spiritual mountain. All the different paths, winding, steep, gentle, difficult, have led you here. Feel the profound sense of arrival, of completion, of finally reaching the destination that your soul has been seeking across countless lifetimes. You are invoking the supreme reality that stands beyond and above all methods, all practices, all paths, yet is simultaneously the power that makes all these paths effective. You are calling upon Yoga Swarupam herself, the embodiment of ultimate union. Having established the goddess as Maha Yogishwareshwari, a natural question arises in the seeker's mind. How do I reach this destination? How do I become a Yogeshwara myself? And the Sahasranamam immediately answers this question with the next 3 names. These 3 names, Mahatantra, Mālamantra, Yantra, form the complete spiritual toolkit. The precise, time-tested technology that transforms a seeker into a master. We first met this sacred triad back in the Sarva series. in the part 28 of our journey, where we explored Sarva Mantra Swarupini, the 204th name, she whose essence is all mantras, the 205th name Sarva Yantratmika, she who is the soul of all yantras, and the 206th name Sarva Tantra Rupa, she whose form is all tantras. So why is the Sahasranamam repeating this pattern? When we explored the Sarva series, the Sahasranamam was doing something revolutionary. It was expanding your spiritual vision to recognize the Divine Mother in every authentic spiritual practice across the entire world. This was a message of spiritual inclusivity and universality. No genuine spiritual effort is ever wasted. All paths that lead to truth are manifestations of her essence. Now, having established that universal truth, the Maha series does something different. It establishes Śrī Vidya as the supreme method, the most complete path specifically designed for moksha. Now let's look at Tantra. While Sarva Tantra Rupa tells us, I am the embodiment of all systematic spiritual methods, Tantras, Maha Tantra reveals something more specific. Among all these spiritual systems, my Śrī Vidya Tantra is the greatest. Most spiritual systems are Paratantra, dependent on specific times, external rituals or intermediaries. But Maha Tantra, the Śrī Vidya system, is Swatantra, completely independent and self-sufficient. It fulfills all four Purusharthas simultaneously, the four goals of human life, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. No other single system claims this comprehensive fulfillment. Most paths say, first pursue Dharma, then Artha and Kama in their proper time. But while you are pursuing these, you cannot pursue Moksha. Liberation comes only when you renounce all other pursuits. Śrī Vidya is the only system that defies this paradigm. It declares, no, pursue all four simultaneously in a balanced, integrated manner. This is why it's called Maha Tantra, not just a great system, but the supreme system that is completely self-sufficient and fulfills everything a human being seeks. Now let's look at mantra. Sarva Mantra Swarupini tells us, every mantra ever chanted is my divine essence. I am the consciousness that gives power to all sacred sound. Maha Mantra reveals, among all the mantras, the Panchadashi and Shodashi mantras of Śrī Vidya are the sonic absolute. They are not just sounds that point to Brahman. They are Brahman in sound form. There is no gap, no duality between the mantra and what it represents. The mantra contains the entire philosophy of non-duality within its structure. When you truly understand the mantra's architecture, you have understood the nature of Brahman. It directly awakens the Kundalini Shakti and systematically activates every chakra, every energy center, leading the practitioner through a scientifically precise sequence of inner experience. This is why our rishis say the Śrī Vidya mantra is itself the form of Brahman. So now let's go to the Yantra. Sarva Yantratmika tells us, I am the living soul of all sacred geometric diagrams. Every yantra, every mandala, every sacred pattern across all traditions is animated by my consciousness. Maha Yantra reveals, among all yantras, the Śrī Cakra is supreme. It is the complete, perfect geometric map of the entire process of creation, sustenance and dissolution. It is consciousness made visible. The Śrī Cakra is not just one geometric pattern among many. It is recognized as the supreme yantra. When you meditate on Śrī Cakra, you are not just looking at sacred geometry. You are navigating a precise map of your own inner journey through limited ego consciousness to infinite cosmic awareness. While most yantras are two-dimensional, the Śrī Cakra is actually a three-dimensional form, a pyramidal structure called the Meru. This three-dimensional aspect makes it a complete representation of reality, not just a flat symbol. The ultimate status of Mahayantra is reinforced by its frequent cross-reference throughout the Sahasranamam. Her celestial abode Meru is the yantra's architecture, as we saw in the 55th name, Sumeru Madhya Shringastha. Her ultimate authority is shown as she rides the yantra, referred to as Chakraraja Ratharuda in the 68th name. The 98th name, Samayachara Tatpara, describes how she delights in the inner worship where the seeker visualizes the yantra within their own heart center. This is why it's Mahayantra, not just great, but supreme, perfect and complete in every way. And here's what this Maha triad is telling you. The goddess honors all authentic paths, Sarva. But if you're ready for the most complete, most direct, most systematically perfect path, one specifically designed to take you all the way to full realization, then here it is, Śrī Vidya. We have just witnessed the supreme triad, Mahatantra, Mahamantra, Mahayantra. But what's the purpose of all these tools? Where does this journey ultimately lead? The answer comes immediately. Mahasana, she who is seated on the great throne. This is the culmination, the coronation, the moment when everything comes together. Having mastered text, sound and form, the ultimate realization arrives. Your own consciousness becomes the great throne upon which the goddess sits in eternal sovereignty. Traditional iconography shows the goddess seated on a throne supported by 5 divine beings representing Shrishti, Sthiti, Laya, Tirodhana and Anugraha, the 5 cosmic functions. But in Antaryaga, inner practice, this throne is established within you, in your purified consciousness. The 5 deities also represent the 5 elements that constitute your body, the 5 senses through which you experience the world, the 5 pranas that animate your being. When the goddess takes her seat as Mahasana, she assumes complete sovereignty over your entire being. Your senses become her instruments. Your energies become expressions of her Shakti. The ego dissolves and she rules directly. You use Tantra, Mantra, Yantra to construct the great seat. Once she is seated, the seeking ends. The journey is complete. The message to you, Śrī Vidya is not about accumulating techniques. All the texts you study, mantras you chant, yantras you meditate upon serves one purpose: to prepare your consciousness to become the great throne, her asana. When your consciousness is sufficiently purified, when your surrender is complete, something miraculous happens. The goddess takes her seat within you and rules directly through you. Your eyes see, but it's her vision. Your hands act, but it's her power. Your mind thinks, but it's her intelligence. This is Mahasana, the goddess ruling the universe from the throne of your own heart. When you chant this name, you're not just praising the goddess on her throne, you're inviting her to establish the throne within your own heart. The regular chanting of this name transforms you from a restless seeker into a stable foundation for divine manifestation. Your consciousness becomes less reactive, more centered, increasingly capable of holding and radiating her presence. The 230th name of the Lalita Sahasranamam is Mahayaga Karadhya. It means she who is to be worshipped through the disciplined step-by-step progression of the great sacrifice or Mahayaga. When most people hear yaga or sacrifice, they imagine elaborate Vedic rituals, grand ceremonies involving fire altars, priests, and offerings of ghee and grain. But in Sri Vidya tradition, Mahayaga means something radically different. This is revealed in Bhavanopanishad, a foundational text of our tradition which describes the Antaryaga, the internal sacrifice. Here's the breathtaking vision. Your body is the sacred island of jewels, the Manidvipa. Your mind is the sanctuary, the inner temple. Your senses are the attendant deities. Your awareness is the altar. The Mahayaga is not burning wood and ghee in an external fire. It is offering your sense of separation, your duality, your ego into the blazing fire of pure consciousness, the Chidagni. And why is this Maha? Why is this supreme? External fire sacrifices yield temporary results. You might gain heaven, prosperity, or power, but these are all fleeting, bound by time. On the other hand, the internal Mahayaga burns the root cause of all suffering, ignorance and ego. Its result is not temporary pleasure, but eternal liberation, moksha. That's why it's called Mahayaga, the supreme yaga. Notice the word krama in this name, Mahayaga Yagamārādhyā. Krama means step-by-step progression or sequence or order. This is absolutely critical. In Tantra, you cannot simply jump into the center of the Śrī Cakra and declare yourself realized. Consciousness evolves through a natural sequence, just as a seed must go through specific stages to become a mighty tree. This is why we perform Navavarana Puja, the worship of the 9 sacred enclosures of the Śrī Cakra. You cannot realize the goddess in the Bindu, the central point of ultimate consciousness, without first acknowledging and transcending the deities of the outer courts. These outer layers represent your emotions and desires, thoughts and intellect, sensory perceptions and attachments. Krama ensures your foundation is absolutely solid before you reach the pinnacle. Without this disciplined progression, the realization won't be stable. It will collapse. Look at the beautiful journey we have completed through these 5 names. You entered through the scripture, Mahatantra. You internalized the sacred vibration, Mahamantra. You visualized the cosmic map, Yantra. You established the goddess firmly on the seat of your awareness, Mahasana. And now, finally, you engage in the continuous great yaga, Yāgakramārādhyā, the dynamic, moment-by-moment process of dissolving your limited ego into her infinite presence. This name is the operational climax of everything we have learned. It defines the goddess not as a distant statue to be admired in a temple, but as a living, dynamic reality to be engaged with through a specific disciplined process. Mahayaga Karadhya asserts that discipline, krama, and sacrifice, yaga, are the engines that propel you across the bridge from intellectual understanding to actual lived realization. When you chant Mahayaga Karadhya, visualize yourself seated within your own body as the sacred Śrī Cakra. See your breath as the offering, your ego as the oblation, and your awareness as the eternal flame. Feel each breath as a step in the sacred sequence, gradually moving from the outer chaos of the mind towards the absolute stillness of the Bindu, the Divine Mother's supreme abode within your own heart. I will stop here for today. I would love to hear from you. Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon for notification. May the goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari be seated in the lotus throne of your heart. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Namaste.